MAGA Christians do not care about pedophilia. They do not care to provide empathy or justice for victims of pedophilia. And the biggest fissure yet to happen in this already very fissured, fractured MAGA movement is the 218th signature to release the Epstein files. But in the interim, Virginia Giuffre's book has been released, and I'd like to play a clip from journalist Tara Palmieri on just how many powerful people took place in raping young girls.
More comes out, obviously, after her death. What will we learn from the book that might have a corollary if and when the files are ever released?
I mean, the book is incredibly graphic. And if the files are released, and they are truly released, and they are unredacted, then you will see the names that are associated with those descriptions. And they're very powerful people. I mean, she was trafficked to incredibly powerful people, as many as 36 men. And I think it would be jaw-dropping for both political parties. And, you know, you can read and you can figure out who these people are. And it's incredible that in her death, she's seeing some justice, but she has to be dead to see this. I mean, it's just so, it's heartbreaking.
Pumps.
So Tara Palmieri has had a long-standing relationship with many of the Epstein survivors and has gone back with Virginia Giuffre from Jump. And from her reporting, it is devastating to hear what happened to this little girl. She was a commodity. All of these girls were not people. They were commodities. And the men that took part are absolutely deserve to be held accountable. But I'm with you, right-wing Republicans, they are so conditioned to sexual abuse of children because they're churches. You see it every day. Pastors, leaders in churches, deacons, they are used to this. Look no further than the Catholics, the Southern Baptists. It is absolutely stunning. And just what I will say is the description of the mental health trauma that these girls have gone through, we cannot overlook the trauma that these people inflicted upon them. And Ghislaine Maxwell was a perpetrator, and she facilitated it. And she should not be in a cushy prison. She should be in hardcore sex offender jail.
Okay, and I want to paint the picture here that a lot of things that seem that they would not be connected are actually connected. So you have little Moses Mike Grinder Johnson, who is the biggest protector of pedophiles in the United States of America right now. He is the most pro-pedophilia politician in the United States of America right now, is devout Christian Moses Mike Grinder Johnson. They won't release these because right now, MAGA is involved in the biggest propaganda campaign, faking and feigning support. And we saw their meltdown after the No Kings rally. Mm-hmm. They know that they do not have popularity of the American public right now. And there are fissures erupting all over the MAGA movement. So they're moving as fast as they can. The government shutdown helps them. They want to keep it shut down so that they can prevent the fissures from fracturing off even more, so that they can consolidate power to Kanks, because they were going to do everything in their power, everything. They're going to move heaven and earth to ensure that we don't have free and fair elections at the midterms. That is their number one goal right now. And if these Epstein files are released, the MAGA movement, you're going to have, even within the cult, you have a lot of protect the children QAnoners that might start seeing things differently. So I want to hear from right now the America's number one protector, defender, supporter, and enabler of pedophilia, which is none other than Speaker of the House, devout Christian, little Moses Mike Grinder Johnson. Play the clip.
Nothing to see here. And I told Rep. Grijalva, in the press conference, I explained, and I told Hakeem, She needs to get to work. She needs to stop doing TikTok videos and serve her constituents. The only thing that she hasn't done is taken the oath and will administer it as soon as possible. But in the meantime, she should be taking her constituent calls. She should have her 16 employees that she's already hired in here working, like all my staff's working, to handle the crisis that is being created by the Democrats. Her constituents have serious challenges and problems right now. She can be directing them to the right offices. And if it's something outside of her scope, she can send it to her two senators, because they apparently have a lot of.
Okay. There is nothing more dishonest than him saying she needs to get to work and lecturing her on work when he refuses to swear her in. And the reason, America, the reason, world, that he refuses to swear her in is because little Moses Mike Grinder Johnson worships two things: Donald Trump and his closeted life. And he will go to the ends of the earth to do anything for Kanks, for this dementia-ridden, diaper-wearing sack of shit. And he weaponizes his faith all day, every day, to rural Americans that have some sort of grudge. Why can't I get ahead? Why can't I get ahead? You can't get ahead because you vote for pieces of shit like Moses Mike Grinder Johnson, who kisses the ass of billionaires. And these billionaires think you are not worthy of livable wages. They think that you're not worthy of health care. And this is so sickening that the Speaker of the House, that no Republicans check, this little pipsqueak, this little DL demon queen, and that he is such a defender and protector of pedophilia.
I find it stunning that in the same interview, he would say she needs to get to work, but I'm not going to swear her in. Do you think that the base that watches him and supports Trump, they understand the hypocrisy of this? Or do you think it's just gaslighting?
No, for the base, it is own the libs. That's their ethos. So he's owning the libs by doing that. They're like, you go, don't swear. Yeah, they like it. They like this type of dysfunctional government. And in fact, they voted for it because they saw how dysfunctional Trump 1.0 was, one of the most dysfunctional governments we've ever had, only to be outdone by the current one. And they like it. They like anything punitive towards Democrats, because these people don't have empathy for all Americans. Their Christianity and their politics is cherry picked down to just a select group of people. Moving along, CNN's Harry Enton is showing some great signs for the Democratic Party. Play the clip.
Polling just out was really eye-popping to me.
It was shocking to me, John, and it comes down to party identification. Do you identify as a Democrat or as a Republican? And traditionally speaking, this is a metric that has been quite telling of elections, and we'll get into that a little bit. Party ID margin, Dem versus Republicans. Specifically, I'm talking about Gallup. Back in Q1 of 2025, it was a tie. Look at how much Democrats have gained on this metric, according to Gallup. Their latest metric, Democrats are ahead by 7 points. That is a 7-point movement to the left. I looked at some other pollsters as well to see if there was similar movement. Among Quinnipiac, it was +1 Republican. And you can see, again, movement to the left, Democrats +3. Last year going...
Okay. This is what's really important that everybody understand right now. The swearing in of the Congresswoman from Arizona to get that 218th signature, because there is momentum that everybody hates Kanks, except for the 35% MAGA Christian, hypocritical, pedophile protecting cultists, okay? There is massive movement away from this. Every time this man governs, he is breathtakingly unpopular. He has said in the Oval in the last 48 hours, he's going to do everything in his power to make sure there isn't a repeat of 2020. The number one thing that autocrats do when they get power is consolidate it to them and rig elections so that they never have to cede it. So we're seeing the soil being primed right now. That everybody's very unhappy, and polling is showing that everybody blames the Republicans for the shutdown because they control everything. You have the Democrats starting to gain momentum and popularity despite lackluster leadership from the top two in the House and the Senate. And if these Epstein files are released, you guys, it is going to be an earthquake, an absolute tsunami that could actually break this cult once and for all. So what is he doing while the government is shut down? Play this video. This is incredibly disturbing.
President Trump's new election integrity team at the Department of Homeland Security includes Heather Honey and Marcy McCarthy, two election deniers who worked to overturn the results in Georgia and Pennsylvania. Honey is now Deputy Assistant Secretary for Election Integrity at the Department of Homeland Security, and McCarthy was named Director of Public Affairs at the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA. According to the New York Times, Honey hosted a call with election officials from nearly all 50 states last month. The paper reports many of the officials left that call alarmed. 5 people familiar with the call say Honey spent much of her time repeating claims that the 2020 election was fraudulent, questioned the mission of CISA, and made multiple references to a report that election machines had been hacked and could not be trusted. Ms. Honey and Ms. McCarthy did not respond to the New York Times request for comment, and the Homeland Security Department declined to give specifics about the department's election work. But it is because these individuals are now responsible for laying the groundwork for the upcoming midterm and presidential elections that many election experts are even more alarmed today.
Okay, so these are the big stories, and I, as appalled as I am of what he's doing to the East Wing, this is a massive story right here that he is putting real quacks, conspiracy theory whack jobs in charge of election integrity on purpose. The crazier and the more dishonest and the more depraved and the more willingness to bend free and fair results, the more qualified you are for this man. This man is a flea bag magnet. He attracts bottom feeders, parasites, and flea bags. Anyone in his orbit are people that you know that still continue to defend this man are broken, emotionally stunted, bottom feeding flea bags that think they are the exception, that are incapable of empathy, real time psychos. And these women that are doing this to these elections, this is the point. This is what they're doing. This is why they want the government shut down. This is why they don't want to release the Epstein files, because they have got to break it enough before it opens back up that they'll never have to give it up again, because this man has zero, and I mean zero, intentions of leaving the White House.
I completely agree. And I do not think it's hyperbolic to say he is going to rig these elections, full stop. And one thing that, when you see this Trump 2.0 versus Trump 1.0, something you said really hit me. It's punitive. And so in Trump 1.0, we saw the nature of the, guardrails, and he was firing people constantly. This time he put in true believers that have zero loyalty to the United States of America or its citizens, and they have loyalty only to him. So I just think it's interesting, Homeland Security hires election deniers. Who's in charge of Homeland Security? Kristi Noem, true believer. It's stunning what they are trying to do. You may remember
in a couple of episodes ago, we talked about, we played a clip of Kanks talking about, I've got Kristi working on the election so that this never happens again. I've got Tulsi Gabbard working on it. Every single cabinet member, every single aide, every single advisor, this is all hands on deck. This is a Project 2025 situation. This is what everybody warned you about. This is what Kamala Harris warned you about. They are dead fucking serious about dismantling the Constitution. And you guys, they have Congress and the Supreme Court in their pockets on this, because they all think we can do bad shit and we can have all of these fucked up Google search histories as long as we make America a good country for Jesus. Like that's something that if Jesus exists, and you're like, that's something that Jesus wanted, who actually spoke out against people who prayed in public, who actually spoke out against overt religiosity and found it performative and fake. All right, that's all we have for this episode. Buy our book. It's called Life is a Lazy Susan of Shit Sandwiches. The link is below in the show notes. Please subscribe, like this video, comment on it, to help us with our algorithm boost. And we'll see you all later today with more news.